Be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Melee Mob to see all our movie news, reviews, and so much more. Hello everyone and welcome to Movies in a Nutshell. I'm your host, Detective Artimus, and yes, there is something different about me. I got new shoes. Today our movie will be Insidious: The Last Key. In this video we will be talking about spoilers, so if you haven't seen Insidious: The Last Key, hit that watch later button on this video, go watch the movie, and then come back and watch this video to join on discussion. Go! So this movie takes place right after chapter 3, but it also takes place before 1 and 2. So the way to watch this movie is you watch chapter 3 first, then The Last Key, part 1, and then part 2. Why is it called chapter 3 if it's actually part 0? Or should be part 1? I don't get it. Whatever. You would think after 4 of these movies you get pretty sick of them, but this one really brings something new and different to the table. You know, it expands more on Elise's background. You see more of her childhood. You see her family, her brother, and her mom, and this whistle that comes into play later. And so it brings something pretty different, and it's good. I like it. Typically movies that come out in January tend to be pretty shitty, although you do have some exceptions like Leprechaun, Don't Be a Menace, and Taken. Man, Liam Neeson, he's the goddamn king of January movies. He has a fucking ton of them. Lynn Shay, who plays Elise, was easily the best part of this movie. Her performance was really good. She really showed the stress and the PTSD and all the shit she went through as a kid in her childhood, and these fucking demons and stuff, and she really wraps it up all nicely, and then like you really feel for it a lot of times, especially at the part where her mom comes back, the whistle. You'll know when you see it, right here in the feels. My favorite thing about the movie though was the key demon. This guy actually looks pretty fucking scary and makes me want to check my closet or under the bed to see if he's in there waiting for me to put a key in my throat or my heart or my butt. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what he likes to do in his spare time, so I'm just gonna assume he does butt stuff. Anyways, he looked really scary compared to that goofy Darth Maul looking demon we saw in part 1. Ah man, like that guy's like meme material, but the Last Key guy, that guy was definitely fucking nightmare fuel. My favorite scene in the whole movie though is where Elise was in that little fan tunnel thing, and she finds a suitcase with the girl who her dad was torturing. She opens it up, she sees all her stuff, and then she sees her skull, and I'm like, whoa, it's pretty fucked up. But then she looks further into the tunnel, and then she sees more like 4 or 5 other suitcases, and you're like, oh man, fucking more people die the same way. And then so she opens them up, you see more skulls in each bag that belong to each victim. That was pretty fucking dark, and it was also pretty sad. Throughout the movie I realized that this whole Insidious story, it's not really so much about the Lamberts, who are the family in part 1 and part 2, but it's more about Elise and her crew. These guys together, they have really good chemistry, they complement each other, and they're funny at times, but you can really feel that they're a team and like a unit. So if they were to have some sort of like Netflix series about a few of their side adventures, I'd be okay with that, because these guys, I like to see them more. Like, I like to see more of their story, more fucking creepy encounters they do, more spirits, more ghosts and stuff. But I think that won't ever happen, because this movie kind of pretty much solidifies itself as the final thing, because this one and part 1 are like super close together in terms of time, so I don't think there'd be enough time to show these potentially awesome side stories. In the movie, Elise realizes that it was her fault that the demon key guy entered her house because she left his door open. So she's like, oh man, it's my fault, I fucked up, I should have closed the door when I had a chance. But then later on, where she goes into the further, she comes across the kid from part 1, Dalton, who was like, you know, the kid who can like astral project. And then like when she opens the door and she's like, oh shit, wrong house. And then she just walks away, but she leaves the door open. So is it her fault that the events of part 1 and 2 happened, and it also, you know, caused her own death? Is she responsible for all that? She's like, oh man, I fucked up, I'm gonna go fix that lesson, but I'm gonna go do it again and fuck up this family. Haha, whoops. So there was a lot of comedy in the movie between mostly Tucker and Specs, and it was pretty funny a lot, but there were times where I feel like it took away from some of the suspense of the moments, but that's probably the only real flaw I have with this movie. I think it's time for scary movies to stop having those like girls with long hair and like gray skin and just kind of like, you know, like that creepy look. We've seen it a million times before in movies like The fucking Grudge, Ring, Lights Out, in plenty of other movies. It's not really that scary. I think it's a little overdone, so I want to add to that as well. This movie does not need to exist, but it does a good job of doing so. It really keeps you interested throughout the whole way. You get invested in the story, it really expands on the characters. It has a lot of great scary moments. It also has a really great spooky atmosphere that really adds to the movie as a whole. It's also a really good standalone movie. Like if this was the first Insidious movie you've ever seen, that's okay. It holds up on its own, and that was probably one of the best things I liked about it. It doesn't like, you don't really need to watch the other ones, but if you have seen them, then it adds to it. It's like bonus points. So I hereby declare Insidious: The Last Key an awesome must watch. So have you guys seen Insidious: The Last Key, and what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this amazing channel. I am Detective Artimus, and you stay classy, San Diego. I like that one, that was good.